We have our minutes for the song. All right, God bless everyone. Minutes, we have our minutes. Security Club, Kirby Williamsburg met last on April 12th, 2018. First song was I Made It, and prayer by Sister Brooke. Minister read by Sister Marcia, and closing songs were read by Brother Ryan, Christine, and Rick, and Davis. Our lesson is found a positive conclusion. We have the Bible lesson, given the number shows 13, 15, and 7. So 13 books, First Chronicles, 15 chapter, and we start at 7th verse. Genesis 15, our beginning minister, Brother Brian Jr., and our document, Brother Brian Sr. Whereas, Sister Park, come up and do the sword. The sword is so nice. Welcome to another Purity Club. Last month we missed out, so we're back tonight. Thanking God for bringing us. Thank you, Sister Tar and Sister Kara again for your rendition, and Brother Howard Jr. helping out in the Purity Club songs tonight. Thank God for being here, for bringing us through another week, for His Son who died on the cross for our sins, for elder and sister who came, taught our parents this way, and taught it unto me. I thank God for the leaders of today that preach a true word of God. Thank God for His Spirit, His word, which I hid in my heart. I may not sin against that. Thank God for the power of my life to say yes to God, no to sin, flesh, and the devil. Thank God for the standards of righteousness still taught and led by our pastor here. Thank God for the deacons that assembled, Brother Howard, Sister Tawana, Ellen Mark, Sister Fran, for my husband, our children, for Deacon Keith, Deacon Paul, Sister Iris, and for all of you. Thank God for the Church of God of Williamsburg, for many things that we've learned between now and then. We've talked a lot about things that are about purity, about how to dress ourselves accordingly, the sisters, how we all must come in unity, how we must maintain and continue in this way is for our children and the children's children, that they may have a light, a guideline to go on. So we practice those things, and then they put it in, and you teach, and then you put it in practice, your children. Teach them at home, we teach them at church, we teach them in Sunday school, we teach them in Purity Club, how to be pure and clean, how to live a righteous and holy life. That's what Sister Marcia taught the young people back in that day. How to be a peach out of reach from the devil. How to live a godly life and let God use you and your life be for Him. And we thank God for where we teach that sex outside of marriage is still a sin. We preach that here, believe that, and practice that. So tonight's lesson, we have a lot of things. We missed last month's lesson, so we have a few things to talk about tonight. Who led the children of Israel back in the biblical times? Who was the first leader of the children of Israel? Moses, yes. Don't be afraid. You know the answer. Moses led them. He got them out of Egypt as God sent them. What happened after Moses died? Who took over after that? Joshua. Thank you, Joshua. Joshua was the next leader. And when Joshua died, who took over after that? Speak up. The judges. They had judges. Before they got their first king, there were judges that ruled the children of Israel. But before they got to that place, when they behaved themselves. They obeyed everything that was told. As soon as Joshua died, they started acting up. And they got so that the Lord suffered different people to take over them. Again, because of their evil doings, God punished them, and He had the different ones to take over them. So tonight we're going to touch a little bit about these. There's a lot of judges, and we're going to talk about them. Can anybody name some of the judges? Deborah was the only woman of all the judges to judge Israel. How many years did she judge them? 8. How many years did Deborah judge them? No, that,
40?
nope,
8?
no, we don't get 20 years. Well, actually, what did you say, 40?
Yeah.
40 years? Did you say that? Someone say 40?
I did.
Okay, yes, 40 years for her. 40 years, and, name another judge. Yeah, what you say? Who said that? I said Samson. All right, yeah, Samson. Samson was really the last of the judges.
I thought Samuel was.
Who?
I thought Samuel was the last of the judges, because then
No,
they started.
Samuel was the priest and prophet.
He was a judge too.
He was not in the judges.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Samuel didn't come into the book of Samuel, so I'm talking about all the judges are the ones that are in the book of Judges. So Samuel is not there for when he born yet. So if Samson was the last of the judges, and how long did he judge?
49?
Nope,
20?
20 years now, Samson. All right, so there are a lot of people in between there, all right? So you named, somebody named Deborah, and you named Samson. Who else?
Gideon.
Gideon, yes. Gideon, how many years of judging for him?
30?
Nope. Yes,
You can guess him good, but
yeah. 40 years. 40 years for Gideon.
Another one?
Yes, 40 years.
40.
All right, now, who else? I think we've only like studied at least these three and one other that we studied. Who made the vow? Jephthah. Jephthah was the one who made the vow. He made a rash vow. He said when they defeated the Ammonites that whatever came out of his house, that I'm going to offer it up. And who came out of his house? His daughter. He only had one daughter. And he had to keep his promise. He said, open my mouth to the Lord and turn back. So he had to offer her up. Jephthah, how long was he a judge? Much shorter time.
Can you repeat that?
What part?
30?
No, I said much shorter. Much shorter.
7?
Only 6 years. 6 years, okay?
6?
6 years. He had the less of all that these judges that have down here, 12. All right, so, yes. Who? No, Michael's one of the minor prophets, not a judge. These judges came way before Micah's time. All right, so now one of the judges, this judge, he destroyed his family's idols. Who was that? He destroyed his family's idols. He also raised an army of 10,000 and defeated the 135,000 Midianites with 300 soldiers.
Samson.
No, not Samson.
Jonah?
Samson fought alone. He didn't know him.
Jonah?
No, not Jonah.
Gideon.
Who? Gideon. Gideon fought the Midianites. Remember, he got all those thousands down there and brought them down to the water, and the Lord said, you got too many. So they had to do a test to see who was going to be chosen. And they watched how they were at the water. Did they dip up water? Did they lap like a dog?
Laugh like a dog.
And those are the ones that were chosen. The rest of them were sent home. So tonight we are going to talk on This is short, they're gonna be short ones. So we're just gonna go over a few of them. Uh, Just gonna mention that. All right, let's go into, this man, he judged them the longest of all. And his name was Ehud. He judged 80 years. So let's turn to Judges, the 3rd chapter, starting with the 12th through the 30th verses, and we're going to read about Ehud, capital E-H-U-D. Chapter 3, starting at verse 12. Chapter 3, starting with verse 12. 12 through verse 30. For our reading tonight. So I want you to remember these judges, because that will be on your Purity Club review, Lord's will. So does everyone have it? Judges, the 3rd chapter, start with the 12th verse. I'll read the 12, and you read the next verse, and we'll all read the last verse together. All right, good. Cass out it. Says, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord.
And he gathered
So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh.
and he brought the praise of the king of Moab.
When he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bare the present.
Letting himself turn again from the wars that were said,
And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. And the half also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. When he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covered his feet in his summer chamber. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the quarries, and escaped unto Seraph. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the Lord hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over.
And they slew no more at that time. Oh, let's see.
So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. After him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. So let's see what we learned here tonight. All right, let's backtrack. So after Joshua, who ruled over the children of Israel? Yes, who's in charge over them? Who did the Lord send? No, in general. Judges, yes. Okay, first thing I want you to know that after Joshua's death, it was the judges that ruled over them. In tonight's lesson, this judge's name was who? And what was different about him? Left-handed. What tribe? And according to, I was reading up more further on it, and it was saying that apparently the Benjamites seemed to be all left-handed men. They're quite left-handed men in their, from that tribe. So Ehud, why did the Lord send Ehud? What happened to the children of Israel? And who was their enemies at that time? The Moabites. What was their king's name? Eglon, yes. Eglon. So they were carrying on, and the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, how many years?
18 years.
18 years. So you see all these things that you need to know. We have judges. We have Ehud. We have the Moabite king Eglon, and 18 years, okay? Now, so the children of Israel, they cried unto the Lord, and he raised him up a deliverer, which was Ehud, the son of Jerah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. Now, he told the king, I've got a present for you. And he had made this dagger, which had how many edges?
Two edges.
A cubit length. Anybody know what a cubit length is? A cubit is what? Any math people here?
Is it 16?
Two is four.
Two. 16.
What is that? A cubit length. So, anybody have one of those things in the back of your Bible that tells measurements?
One cubit equals 45.72 centimeters.
Or can you round it off into like inches or feet or something?
Is approximately equal to the length of a forearm.
So it's 18 inches. How's that? A cubit is 18 inches.
Right.
So he had 18-inch dagger, or had these 2-edged swords there. So, that's like a machete. And he said he had a present for this man. And he went to see him. Okay. Now, what about Eglon? What kind of man was he? Fat man, he said he was a fat man. Fat, is that right there? Fat. And he began to say he's going to offer him a present and sent the people all out. And so he pulled out this dagger and he thrust him through. Then what else happened? So how did Ehud handle this?
Those to knock the doors straight.
Yeah, he went back in the house. And the doors were locked, his people came and they saw the doors shut, so they thought,
You want to surprise you.
maybe he's just covering his feet in the summer chamber. He's like in there, but then I guess they got kind of ashamed because he had been in there so long. And of course, when they opened the doors, they had to take a key and open it. And they found him falling dead to the earth. But Ehud escaped while they tarried, and he passed beyond the quarries and escaped from Sarah. So you see that sometimes, as we learn about kings, when we studied the kings, these kings were great warriors, and they did a lot of fighting. And as you see today, the children of Israel, the Jews, and all these people down there still fighting. Nothing hasn't changed. 27 verse says, and it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mountain and began to tell the children of Israel, come on down because I've gotten rid of our enemy there. And they went out after him and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew, 29th verse, and they slew Moab at the time, how many men? 10,000 men, all lusty, all men of valor, and their escape, not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest how many years? How much is fourscore?
24 to 60 years.
Yeah, score is 20, times 4 is 80. Do you see those years? That, as it says, Ehud judged them for 80 years. So they had rest those years, and then a new person came, which was Shamgar. So we see that's just one story about these judges. And the judges, why did the judges have to come again? Tell me that. Why did the judges have to come? Because we know after Ehud died, they would need a new one. Why?
They kept doing it.
They kept doing evil, and every time they did evil, the Lord would allow these people to take over for so many years, and they were crying to the Lord and asking him to deliver them, and he would send one of these judges. He would hear them. He would let them suffer so many years, and then he would send somebody to help them out. Because remember, when they left Egypt and went in the wilderness, he told them, when you go down into Canaan, there are going to be a lot of different people you got to get rid of when you get down there. He named some of those people that he told them that they had to get rid of when they get down there. Canaanites were number one. Who else? Hittites. Who? Philistines. That's later, okay. Who else? Moabites. Amorites. Jebusites. Parasites, and they also had the Amalekites. So there's a lot of those people down there, and one by one, as you see in the Judges, they had to fight all these different people that were down in Canaan. In order for them to occupy that land, they had to get rid of those people that were already down there. So that's how God had a plan for them, because they had all been given certain parcels of land, and in order for them to inhabit there, they would have to get rid of those ones who are already down there. So are there any questions or statements before we move forward?
That's interesting, how he approached. He said, I have a message from God. That's interesting. The message was to kill him.
He had been over God's people, and he been oppressing them. And they cried and asked the Lord, help us. This man is just oppressing us. Okay, I'm going to send Ehud down there. He's going to take care of him. And Ehud took care of him. He didn't have no army with him, did he?
No.
He went in there with his
So in other words, he was an assassin.
Yeah, so he was like an assassin. Just like Samson. Wasn't Samson an assassin? The Philistines were bothering him at that time.
He was taking out arms.
Samson didn't play around with those people, with the Philistines. But the Philistines thought, we gonna find out what this guy did. So he, of course, was betrayed by his wife Delilah. All right, so no questions or statements? All right, let's see. Sister Tara, who was the king in today's lesson? What was his name? This king that of the Moabites.
Was it, Eglon?
Eglon.
Eglon.
All right. Good. Sister Tamika. How many years were they serving Eglon, the king of the Moabites? The children of Israel, how many years did they serve him?
18.
18, that's right. Y'all remember anything? Sister Francine. Ehud. What was so different about him? He was left-handed. He was left-handed and of the tribe of Benjamin. Of Benjamin, yes. Sister, I'm working on sisters tonight. Sister,
Thank you.
Sister, Vivian. What was, Ehud's father's name? Gerald, very short, very short. And G-R-A. My sister Victoria, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Tell us one thing about Eglon. Eglon. King Eglon. Some description of him.
He was very big.
Very fat. It said it. In the Bible say he was fat. He was so fat, Sister Ayana, that when he stuck the knife in, what happened? When he stuck that dagger in that man's stomach, what happened? You remember that? Sister Irish, do you remember what we said?
Because his dirt came out.
Dirt came out, but what else was so,
He couldn't pull it out.
you couldn't even get it out. So just dirt came
His
out.
stomach must have thought it was food.
Because the fat just caved around that thing. It just closed in. And then dirt came out. But I think they say, they try to explain. Oh, they said Eglon's dirt, that is the filth from his intestines. So his guts, I'm not gonna say the guts came out. That's what they consider dirt. Filth from his intestines came out. That was a humiliation right there. When I cut you out and all them guts. That's kind of rough. All right, let's work on the brothers over here. Okay. All right. Okay, keep them on that. Where did Eglon, after he smote Israel, he possessed a city of what?
Seirata.
No.
We escaped you.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes, you said
I
that.
said Eglon.
Oh, what was
After he
up?
oppressed them, where did he stay? In the city of. He possessed the city of what? 2 words.
It's all knocked up on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, brother Anthony. city of what?
Oh,
City of palm trees, that's what they call it, the city of palm trees. Because that's it, the city of palm trees. All right, Brother Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
So there are two other groups of children or tribes there that, this man gathered into himself and Eglon. Who are those other cities? Groups of children or people that, they were also great enemies of people from town to town. The children of what and what? Eglon was over them too.
It was Ammon and Amalek, like the Amalekites.
Yeah, the children of Ammon and the children of the Amalekites. They were also people that this man reigned over.
Thank you.
Come on, I see a clear picture of that.
Thank you.
They had one saved God, so we did not. All right, Brother Howard, a cubic length is how long, Brother Howard?
You say 18.
You already know that. You looked it up.
18 inches. That's how long that dagger was that Ehud used to kill the king of Ai. All right.
Is that gonna be on the review?
All this stuff's gonna be on the review, so I remember there's a lot of stuff in there, 12 to 13 first.
12 to 13?
Yep, that's when we started, verse 12. All right, is there any more questions or statements? All right, let's stand up the, thank God for your participation in the lesson. Let us remember, Ehud was one of the judges. He judged Israel how many years? 80 years. 80 years. 80 years. Come on. How many years did Ehud reign as a judge? The longest. He reigned the longest of all the judges.
He was the longest.
Yeah. Y'all write down your own notebooks?
Score, yeah.
They are keep us down in notebooks.
How many judges were there in total?
Well, there were 12, they listed 12 here, in my, study Bible instead. 12 judges, I'll tell you their names. We'll review this again. You have Shamgar, Elon, Shamgar,
Shamgar, okay.
Elon, Gideon, Tola, Abdon. We're gonna come back to them. Y'all don't have to memorize them
It's
tonight.
Abba.
Abdon, Abdon. Deborah was the only woman. Samson, Ibzan, Ibzan. Othniel was really their first judge. Othnniel. Ehud, which we had tonight. Jephthah, Jair, which is Jair. So you have that. That's plenty to work with right there, right? Okay.
You said Adon, Deborah, and then Samson, right?
And Ibzan, Ibzan.
All right.
Jair, Jair. Jephthah, Jepthah. Okay, Shamgar, Shamgar. Elon, Elon. Tola, Tola. Gideon, Gideon. Deborah, Deborah. Samson, you know, Samson. All right. These were the judges. All right. So let's have the little ones come up for the four swords tonight. First one, get 3. Come on up. Little ones. We have a judge here for the children tonight.
You wanna go? You wanna go? I don't know. Go ahead.
Wait, you got it.
First 28th grade. Please. Gotta take it home. Okay, what do we have here? All right, all ready? Thumbs to the back of the Bible. All talking, let's leave it between all talking.
He's tired.
Tired.
Sana?
Tired.
Okay, I'll give these girls a chance then. Rule source, 1, 2. Fine, Genesis 1 and 1. Genesis 1 and 1. Okay, thumbs to the back of the Bible. Thumbs to the back of the Bible.
Tired.
Yes. Rule source, 1, 2. Fine, Psalms 1 and 1. Psalms 1 and 1. Now what y'all do? Psalms 1 and 1. 1 to 12, okay. You know, New Testament, you can make the Old Testament, Psalms, like in the middle of the Bible. Psalms.
What you doing here? Go get somebody else.
Psalms.
Come on, bro.
Psalms 1 and 1. Come on.
Starts with a P. Song starts with a P.
Yes. Close your Bible, thumbs to the back of the Bible. Lord source, 1, 2. Fine.
Wait a minute.
St. Matthew 1 and 1. Go ahead. St. Matthew 1 and 1.
All right.
Keep turning on. Okay.
Come on.
Keep turning. Keep turning.
Get it, bro.
St. Matthew 1 and 1. Come on, okay. Say, I have it.
Go.
All right. Good job. Thumbs to the back of the Bible. Lord source, 1, 2. Fine. St. John 1 and 1.
All right, get
St.
it on.
John 1 and 1. The red letters. Red words.
Get it. Right there, bro.
St. John 1 and 1.
Get it up.
St. John 1
Come
and
on,
1.
Andre.
St. John.
Good job, Austin. Here,
Here's one. Then break the top. Thumbs to that top. Thumbs to that top. Lord source, 1, 2. That's why Deuteronomy 28 and 1. 28 and 1. Read it on Monday night. Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Wow. You got it.
All right. Well, source 1, 2. Found the book. Malachi 3 and 8. You have to have the verse this time. Malachi 3 and 8. Where's Malachi? Malachi. You know where that is? Did you know? Let me help you out. All right. Come on. The last book. The last book in the Old Testament. Malachi.
Get it, Austin.
Come on. Malachi, 3 and 8. All right,
You can write it. You gotta find
Malachi,
3 and 8.
3 and 8. This is 4. That's all. 3 Malachi. Very close. Close, open the page right here. Open it up, yeah. Malachi, 3. There's 8 words. Turn the page. Turn the page. This is 3. Look close. Turn the page. This one. Come on. Turn the page. Turn the pages. Turn the pages. There's 8 words. Not 8 words. Yeah, look at them wrong.
All right, bro.
What does it say? Read right now. Will. Read out loud so they can hear. That's it. All right, very good. Very good. Well, so it's 1, 2. Let's find Revelation 1 and 1. Revelation, last book in the Bible. Last book, always the back. All the way to the back. All the
Verse is missing. You don't have Revelation chapter 20.
Okay, so we have to do that. You have another Bible?
I can get on one.
No, because she doesn't have.
Good job for finding it, Kerrigan.
I do. Okay. All right. All right, thumbs to back.
Thank you.
Okay, thumbs to back. Go source 1, 2. Fine. Proverbs 31 and 1. Proverbs 31 and 1.
Come on, Austin.
Proverbs.
Come on.
31. Look at your God. 31 and 1. Look at your God. Very good.
Good job, Austin. Good job, Sarah.
All right, good job. Okay, the dogs coming up.
I gotta get three.
Dogs coming up. Who didn't answer any questions? Okay? Come on up, sister, good night. Hi, Donna, join us, please. Very short enough. That's event. All right. Okay, first one, we second, this one, Katie, on sit down. Mr. Van, would you join us, please? Watching face.
She's coming.
Sister Armstrong. I don't participate in children. Help us out tonight. Well, very quickly, of course. Like it. Okay, are ready?
Right.
And say aye. Be careful of all the things that I call.
Can you remind everybody how to hold the Bible?
All right, thumbs to magnify, do not open your Bible shut down. All right. Roll swords, 1, 2. Find Judges 3 and 12. Judges 3 and 12. Draw swords, 1, 2. 5. Micah, 6 and 8. Micah, 6 and 8. Draw swords, 1, 2. 5, Ezekiel, 15 and 1. Ezekiel, 15 and 1. I have Draw swords, 1, 2. 5. Titus, 2 and 11. Titus, 2 and 11. Draw swords, 1, 2. Habakkuk, 2 and 1.
Hey, okay.
Draw swords, 1, 2. 5.
She's gonna do a favor.
Yes, she is. You already got
She's trying to. Okay, let's keep close to the start. Watch this. Nobody gets I said you didn't hear me, so that might be one scratch in the system.
Draw swords, 1, 2. 5. Philippians 2:5. Philippians 2:5.
Hey.
one. Y'all start playing with the cat.
Wait a minute, what is that? 101?
She got one on one. Oh, she had one big.
She had one.
I said 100. Okay.
Do we give it to John? So
I was saying, y'all didn't see it, so.
No, she said, yeah. So it's 1, 2. Fine. Ezra, 1 and 1. Ezra, 1 and 1.
Go. You won.
Time for a couple.
Do that one.
This is about animals.
Animal kebab.
Animals. Multiple choice. All right. Okay. Now listen, children. All right, animals. What kind of animal did Samson first tear apart barehanded at Timor? Was it a bear, a lion?
Bear. Lion. A bear. Lion.
Yeah. Be a lion. All right. Saul was sent on an errand to seek his father's lost brother. What animal was this? No choices on this. Just one answer. No.
No. Says, repeat the question.
It says Saul was sent on an errand to seek his father's lost blank. What was missing? From 1 Samuel. A fox? Nope. Nope. What word do people don't like to say is a bad word? Okay. Ass. All right.
Is that
Now,
King
remember that.
Saul? Which Saul is that?
Huh?
She said First Samuel, so it's Saul.
1 Samuel. All right, now. What did Balaam's ass do that showed unusual talent for an animal?
No.
God. What did he say?
A lot of people.
What did he say?
A lot of people.
Yeah, why did you hit me? The donkey talk. He said, why did you hit me?
You couldn't see the angel.
Yeah, the donkey or the ass, he saw the angel in the way he saw. So he moved out the way and saw, and the Balaam thought the animal was acting up. So he hit him. He said, why did you hit me? And then he talked to him. Why did you hit me? You see that angel over there? All right, one more question.
Come on up here.
Okay, this is, in Isaiah, he spoke of a time to come when beasts would join together. Pick the animals that will become friends with those on the left.
Land and sheep. Oh.
The wolf will dwell with who?
Kid,
Take care.
No,
was that the lamb?
lamb.
Yeah.
All right. The leopard will lie down with
Snake.
Something that a leopard usually.
Sheep. The
The
shepherd. The
Oh,
shepherd.
shepherd.
what's the name of those? The kid. That's the name of the kid. All right. The cow will feed with hay. The cow will feed with what? Hay. No, think of an animal that would probably try to eat that cow. That's why they said,
The bear.
yes, the bear. Think of an animal that will eat. Unlike, it said the lion will eat straw like what?
Antelope.
No, he eats straw.
Eat straw. Like
Horse.
It said the lion will eat straw like what? What animal eats straw?
ox.
Yes, an ox. Ox. You have to think of an ox. Okay, one more. The calf will join with who?
The alligator or something like that.
No.
But in the Bible, they call it something else.
No, not that.
The
I
Bible.
don't think it was the Bible.
Bible.
No, this is, the calf will join with what?
Is it the lion?
Young lion. Yeah. Okay, so remember those. All right, so the bad things were what? The bear, the bad things were the wolf, the leopard, the calf, the cow, the lion.
Phrase.
And the praise were like, those were the praise, but the other ones were like kid, lamb, the young lion, ox.
No, I'm sorry.
So it went back and forth.
Predator.
It went back and forth. One time it would give you the predator, and then it would give you the opposite of that. All right, very good. Okay, thank you for your attendance and for all being out tonight. Thank God for one making it out. And, just continue to remember Deacon Paul, our prayers, Howard, Robert, and Keith, and Matt, and Ryan, we've been here a long time. Long time, and Mark. As they're traveling back and forth, taking care of people. Taking care of people. So, let us remember one another in prayer, just love one another, help one another, and, let us remember these things we learned here in the period of love, because it's very important. You never know when somebody asks you a question. You never know. And somebody will ask you a question. Sometimes, one thing I like about on Jeopardy, sometimes they just have difficult questions. Yeah. They ask difficult questions on that. That'll be a category. They use that difficult questions on Jeopardy. So, you never know. So, all right, how many do we have? Your attendance tonight is what? 40? So we beat what we had last time? Last time we had 15, what we have tonight?
18.
So we had 18, and I think Lauren was enjoying herself tonight at first when she was smiling. Look at those, Sister Tara and Kirby up there, I guess she's in her mind someday, I don't care. Be sooner than later. But, thank God for all being out tonight and for your attendance tonight, our winners. And let us, remember those, I think the children are not finished school yet.
No, ma'am.
You still have another week?
Yeah.
Thursday is the last day.
Next week?
Yeah.
still going on. So remember the kids. Yeah.
Kirby.
So you said 18?
Did you remember Sis Frank saying? Did you count?
Oh, that's who it was. That's why I got 19. Thank you.
See? 19.
Thank you.
Yes, 19.
Thank you.
Count, Lord.
You count, baby?
Yes.
Count those on the
All right, so thank you very much for your attendance tonight. So we ask that while we can go down and take up all 3 o'clock. Thank you, pray for me. Excuse me, hold up. I do have, pictures of Sister Michelle and they're different, different outfit on each time. So I did copy out some pictures out of the, something I had for, sisters, Regina was asking, so I do have this book, so if y'all sisters, y'all would like to look at the pictures after.
Yes.
Church and pastor.
Thank you.
God bless you. I'd like to make copies and put some on the board.
Thank you.
I don't want to stick holes in it. Can I do that? So the pastor can see it.
You can use it,
Okay.
you can use it, I have to look at them.
All right.
So just let them look at them and then give us pass on to Sister One, but I can. Yes. Some, I don't think they have that many. So please, while Brother Howard plays, come up to the table and. Thank you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it in a bushel, no! I'm gonna let it shine. Hiding in a bushel, I'm gonna let it shine. Hiding in a bushel, no! I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm gonna let it shine. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm gonna let it shine. All day on Sunday, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hiding in a bush of now, I'm gonna let it shine. Hiding in a bush of now, I'm gonna let it shine. Hiding in a bush of fire, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Father in heaven, we thank you for the offering that was placed on the table. We ask you to stretch it as you see fit. Remember those that handle finances of the church. Remember the banks in which you put money into, Lord, and never deal honestly with people. Remember the saints that are out of this, various ones, and the Father. Remember Deacon Paul in a special way to touch his body. Remember Ella Howard in a special way, you know what he's standing in need of. As you remember Brother Brian in a special way. As you remember Deacon Keith in a special way. As you remember Brother Matt. As you remember Ella Mark, the Heavenly Father. And thank you for protecting the saints this day and our loved ones. These and many other blessings that we earnestly ask in your precious Son name, which is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And we all say together, amen. Thank you, Lord, for a wonderful day which you bestowed upon his people. Thank you, Lord, for the purity club still going on. And kids are still learning, more exciting. Learn about judges and how the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. And he always had to punish them. And he would cry to the Lord, he would hear their cry, and he would send them a deliverer. So I want to thank the Lord for all things in Christ Jesus. Is there anything else, Sister Marcia?
God bless you. Sister Latoya had her birthday. Sister Latoya come up to Sunday school.
After Sunday school, I have to say, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
God bless you. And Group 1 would like for them to remain.
Good point. Good point is happy birthday today.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Awesome. Over here. Thank you.
Nothing else? Anybody have any more comments, anything? Again, like I said, happy birthday to Sister Latoya. Hope you have many more. God bless you. Real good. If nothing else to be said, we'll stand and be dismissed. Look into the Lord, be dismissed. Offer to God thanksgiving. Pay thy vows to the Most High. Call me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee. Thou shalt glorify me. All said together.
Amen.